In 1962, the world was at the height of the Cold War. In the hidden halls of the Pentagon, high-ranking military officials drafted a proposal so shocking it sounds like a movie script. It was called Operation Northwoods. The plan was simple. The US would commit acts of terrorism against its own citizens and blame it on Cuba to justify an all-out war. The documents, signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, suggested several false flag operations. One idea was to sink a US ship in Guantanamo Bay and publish a list of dead sailors. Another involved blowing up a drone aircraft over Cuban waters and claiming it was a civilian charter flight full of college students on a holiday. They didn't stop there. The plan included a communist Cuban terror campaign in the Miami area. And even in Washington, D.C., this would involve exploding real bombs, wounding civilians, and leaving behind fake Cuban leaflets. The goal was to create a wave of national indignation that would force President John F. Kennedy to authorize an invasion. One of the most elaborate schemes involved a body double for an aircraft. An actual civilian plane would be loaded with carefully selected passengers, presumably government agents, and then swapped mid-air with an empty drone painted to look identical. The drone would then be exploded over the ocean while the real plane landed as a secret base. The justification for these atrocities was written in cold, bureaucratic language. The generals argued that we could develop a communist Cuban terror campaign, and that the desired result would be to place the United States in the suffering position in the eyes of the international community. They were willing to kill their own people for a political objective. When the proposal reached the desk of President Kennedy, he was horrified. He rejected the plan outright and, shortly after, removed General Lyman Lamnitzer from his position as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. For decades, the existence of Operation Northwoods was denied, relegated to the status of a crazy conspiracy theory. It wasn't until 1997, 35 years later, that the documents were finally declassified. The John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act forced the release of thousands of pages of secret history. When researchers found the Northwoods memo, they confirmed that the theory was a documented, verified fact. The revelation changed how many people viewed history. It proved that, at the highest levels of government, plans for false flag attacks were not just talk, they were formal, signed proposals. It remains one of the most chilling examples of how far a government might go to manipulate its own population through fear. Today, Operation Northwoods is taught in history and political science classes as a cautionary tale. It serves as a reminder that the line between a conspiracy theory and classified reality is often just a matter of time and a declassification stamp.